A lot of people need a new contract because, 1 year deals.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Rob. I'm here with Mike and Joe. This is the Hogs, Hops, and Hope podcast. Hot takes, cold beers, zero credentials. Welcome back. We're glad you're tuning in. We got good, positive news to start the show off with today. Lately, over the last couple weeks, one of the stories that's been going around the NFL is how the second-round picks had not been signing their contracts, and how people might be holding out for fully guaranteed contracts and things like that. Obviously, that affects Washington. Trey Amos, cornerback, second-round pick. He hadn't signed. He signed today, so he will be in camp. One less thing to worry about, because as a rookie, he really needs to be there. I don't know what the details of the contract are. I'm just happy he signed, and he'll be there for the start of camp when rookies report. So I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to add into that or anything, but I'm just happy he signed.
Yeah, you're right. It's good he signed. It's kind of a housekeeping thing at this point prior to preseason. So I think it's good.
It's great that they're getting this all done. I was seeing that, I think it was 2 days ago, 30 out of 32 second rounders had not signed yet.
Right.
And as of 10 o'clock Eastern time tonight, the 17th of July, nine of players have signed so far. So it's like they'll probably start falling in place now as they've all kind of seen what others are doing, what other teams are doing, what other agents are doing, and locking everything down. So it's good it's done. It's, fantastic to move forward.
Right. I don't care about the other players. I only care about Trey Amos, and he signed, and so he'll be there on the 18th when rookies report for Washington. The other big news that happened yesterday, and obviously we're a day late on doing the show, and we did it because we knew something was going to happen and we didn't want to miss out on it. Always thinking.
We planned it that way.
Von Miller has signed, or is going to sign with the team, a 1-year deal. I haven't seen any numbers on that.
Hang on. A 1-year deal? You're kidding me.
Deal. I'm shocked.
Wow, I've never seen anything like that.
I'm telling you, it's amazing to me as well. I figured he's in line for a 7-year deal, but
this is the most sensible 1-year deal they're signing right now out of everyone I've seen so far. He's old.
Yeah, it's he gives them rotation there. He's going to be a third down specialist, whatever you want to call it, and I think it's good. Hopefully, he's still got something left in the tank. I think he had 6 sacks last year for Buffalo.
In 13 games.
Yeah, so
he missed 4.
He's came off it. He didn't play in 2020 because of a knee injury. He's missed a couple of games here and there. He's had some suspensions in the past. Hopefully all that is a non-factor. But it's happened. It's part of who he is. So that's fair to bring up. But I'm not necessarily excited about it. I just think it's a good signing. And I think it's something that a lot of people were kind of predicting. So.
Yeah, I think it's a good signing too. I think it's the one position that hadn't been really addressed this offseason. It's something we've talked about that we've needed. I understand he's older and he's not going to be an every down player, but it'll be nice to have him. He's a good locker room guy, is my understanding too. So it'd be good to coach up some of these younger players, show them how things are done. And overall, I think it's a good signing. Glad to see him being added to the team.
Mike,
I agree. I think it's a good signing. It's not, like you said, I'm not super excited about it, but it's, I'm not sad about it either. So see how it goes. And again, it's only a 1-year deal.
Right. So they'll sign him to a 1-year deal again next year.
Well, and if he gets
performs though. So
if he gets 6 sacks, I think I was looking, that'd be third most on our team, I think.
Yeah. So we'll see.
So it's a good addition.
So
isn't he close to some other record, like in his career or something? I thought I saw him passing. I might be making that shit up, but felt like there was something that he had career-wise that might motivate him this year.
I don't know.
The only thing I was seeing is that he's chasing another ring, and I think he felt pretty good about what the Commanders were offering or the way the team looked. So I
Right.
don't know if that means anything, but
Well, the interesting thing is he will be coached by Ryan Kerrigan, and they were picked in the same draft. So we got that going. We to, you know, so excited about all the good news because, you know, good news is great, I guess. We skipped over the hops part of the show. So Joe, what are we drinking tonight?
all right. So tonight I got a local beer. This is the Cedar City Brewing Company from Lebanon, Tennessee.
Okay.
And this is a Mexican lager. And I read on the back of this can that it's best served with a lime, and I didn't know that until now. And I don't have a lime, but it's still pretty good.
Well, if it's a Mexican beer, then I think it's required by law that you serve it with a lime.
Yeah, I didn't have any lime, so close enough. Still good.
What you got, Mike?
We got a Stone Delicious Hazy IPA.
Okay.
The Stone is I believe they're actually based their main brewery or started in San Diego, but they also set up an East Coast brewery in Richmond.
Okay.
So, local-ish, I guess, but no, it's a nice hazy IPA.
I was gonna say that I thought that was a California beer, so that makes sense. Speaking of California beers, I have a Lagunitas.
Lagunitas.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I don't speak Californian. This is their legendary IPA from Petumaluma, California. Don't worry, this only has 6.2% APV instead of my 9. So we should be okay. But yeah, this is a typical IPA. It's fine. It's good. It goes down easy for me. No big deal.
Cool.
So, all right. So we got to talk. So the big story that's not a story is Terry McLaurin, who still does not have a new contract extension with the team, but he held a press conference the other day. And to say he is not happy with the situation would be a severe understatement. He wants a contract, and he talked about how much he loves being in DC. This, he and his wife bought a house, he got married, blah blah blah, all this stuff. But I don't know. I listened to it, and what I got out of that was this was my initial reaction after listening to some of the clips from the press conference was Terry's being a whiny little baby. After a day or two to digest, I don't completely feel that same way, but I don't like when the sides go public. I realize there's strategy to all this or what have you, but I don't like that. So to me, this doesn't put Terry in a good light. So I don't know. I'm curious. I mean, obviously, this is what people have been talking about for the last 2 days. So obviously, we need to get everyone's thoughts on this. If do you think it was a good idea for him to come out and have a press conference? Do you think that this changes anything? Should it change anything? Does it change? And then we'll kind of give our opinions, and then we'll wrap it up with where we are in our freak out scale or whatever we're calling it. But Mike, we'll go to you first, and I don't know how much of the clips you've seen, or if you've seen the whole.
Yeah,
press conference.
I didn't see the whole press conference. I saw enough though.
Okay.
So I think I agree with you. I don't like when they start going public. That I just don't love it. I don't know that I ever thought he was. I mean, yes, he comes across as maybe a little like, I don't know that I ever thought whiny actually. But I'm with you that there's strategy around this, going public, things like that. And I think just my opinion, I think he and his agent probably know that they have a ton of fan support. So to come out there and publicly say, I'm not real happy about the way things are going right now. I'm disappointed, whatever it is. I think for him, it makes sense because they feel like, and I think they're right, actually. There's a lot of the fan base that want him re-signed and think he should come back. I mean, if we go back, I think when we started talking about, we were all of the, oh, this is a no-brainer. They're definitely going to re-sign him. Don't want to lose
Yeah.
him. So I think for them to go public that way, it makes sense. Do I think it makes a difference? I don't. I actually don't think it makes a difference. But I don't feel like, I don't think it was a negative for him either. I don't think it helps him in negotiations, but I don't think he looked bad or anything like that.
Okay. Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree that I don't think it's a negative. I don't know that I would say he's whiny. I feel like he's just wearing his heart on his sleeve, letting
Yeah.
people know what's going on. It I really actually I kind of like that he did it in a sense because it's no longer an unnamed source or
Right.
we know who said it. We know exactly where this is coming from. And now it's very clear that there's been no communication between the commanders and his agent for the past month or whatever it's
No,
been.
that's not what he said. That's not what
What did
Terry
he
said.
say?
Terry said he has not talked to the team, and Terry is very, very measured with his words. He said he hasn't talked to the team. That does not mean that his agent hasn't talked to the team.
thought he
I
said
found
he
that very
hadn't-
interesting.
Well, okay.
Maybe
Okay.
I'm too into it, but I found that the way he said that, he's very measured with his words. He's very careful with everything he says. That I don't think he misspoke. I think he said it exactly how he said it, and he meant it exactly as he said it.
Okay. Well, I still, I mean, I agree with Mike. It doesn't make him look bad. I don't think. I also, my understanding is this was not a press conference. He was at Eastern Motors doing a photo shoot or a commercial for him, and it was an impromptu press conference. Like it's not like he called reporters and said, "Hey, I'm going to be here. Come on by."
Are reporters going to show up to a commercial shoot without
I
being
don't know.
told to show up?
I don't know.
I think it was 100% planned because again, this goes back to Terry and who I believe he is and who I've been told he is. He's deliberate. He's not someone that goes off half cocked. He's emotional, but he doesn't fly off the handle. And so I think this was planned. I think it was purposeful, and it may not. So two things, Joe, you touched on it. You mentioned last week that you didn't like the fact that it was unnamed sources. Well, okay, so Terry's
Right.
confirmed as you said that it's him. Yeah, he was the one who was
Right.
saying it, so we can put that to bed. And Mike, I had mentioned last week that I thought that the fan support gave Terry leverage, and you said that you thought it was the other that it didn't give him leverage per se. And thinking about it and listening to some of the comments that Terry made and some of the people who cover the team, I'm now slotted over to what you say. I don't think that him having the fan support gives him leverage in the negotiations for what that's worth. But I think.
But okay, so then here's what I'm thinking. Then he watched the podcast last week, heard me say that, and felt he had to get into front of the fans and talk to them to try to get them so that he could use it for leverage. I'm guessing that's what
That's
happened.
exactly what he did.
But the fans.
Thanks for tuning in, Terry.
The fans don't have leverage. Mike, I mean, that's what you said last week, Mike, is that the fan support isn't leverage. Because what all the fans are saying across the board, pay Terry. That's what they say. They just say pay Terry. And what Terry said himself was getting paid what he deserves. Okay. What does Terry deserve? What does he deserve? And I guess maybe I'm playing a little devil's advocate on this. I don't know what Terry deserves. I have no idea what he deserves.
It seems like, what he deserves comes down to, so I don't think I think everyone's at the 30 to 31 million a year, right? So the two big issues are how long is the contract and how much is guaranteed.
Yes.
I guess that's the part that I don't know that I've seen a lot where you know, I actually don't know the answer. I don't know what he should get. Should it be a 4-year deal? I don't know. Should he be guaranteed
Right.
80
And
million?
I'm not trying to ask you all to tell what his contract deal should be. I mean, I think we agreed pretty early on when we started doing this that we were going to try to avoid stuff like that because we're not.
Yeah, we say things a lot though. So
Yeah, well, that's true. But I just, I like I said earlier, I think I don't like it when the same if the team had come out and said, hey, we've been we haven't talked to Terry, he won't talk to us. If the team had said that, we put an offer on the table, we haven't heard anything, he shouldn't. Then I would say that the team is stupid for doing that. So it doesn't matter which side's coming out and hitting the public first. I think it's a wrong way to go, and I don't think it'll change anything, and that's even more reason why I think it's stupid, because it's not going to change anything. The fans aren't going to support Terry anymore because of this.
true.
I think if, and I don't believe this is happening, but I think the only thing that would come out of this for Terry is he would have less support. And I don't believe that's happening, but it could have had repercussions going in a negative way. I don't think it could have gotten him any more support from the fans because, I mean, I said it last week, he's the second most popular guy on the team right now. I mean, how much more support can he get?
So then maybe it's not about fan support, and maybe maybe a part of it was just keeping this in the news cycle so that the team has to keep hearing about it and hearing it. Maybe it's more about just the media keep talking about it, making sure they do.
Well, and I also think because he watched our show last week, and I was saying there's unnamed sources out there, he wanted to clear it up and say, no, there's a named source. It's me. It's Terry.
So it's clear
Yeah,
Terry watches the show.
I thought
Absolutely.
when I watched the clips, he did say, "This is for Joe. This is coming from me." So I got you on that one, Joe. So all right. So knowing that Terry is, now that we know for a fact, and it's not speculation, that Terry is extremely frustrated, extremely upset with the status of his negotiations. We'll just say that. Where do we stand on the freak out meter? And I guess there could be several levels to this. So let's start with this. The veterans are supposed to report on the 22nd. First of all, do you think Terry's going to be there on the 22nd, or do you think a deal's going to get done before the 22nd? Joe, come to you first. Do you think a deal's going to be done by the 22nd and he's going to be at camp?
I want to add something to this.
Yeah.
So I know the way I was understanding what he was talking about, it really made it sound like there wasn't negotiations going on for the past month, that the Commanders maybe presented an offer and that it's just been kind of quiet. And it feels like because it's the off season and nothing's going on, that they just kind of were letting everything settle.
Maybe.
So with that being said, I think maybe I'm just being optimistic. He's going to be there. I want him there. I think he's going to be there. As far as having like a contract locked in before it, maybe if they're at least on the same page. Sure. Yes. Yep. He's going to have a contract. He's going to be locked in. He's going to be there.
Will he have a contract then?
I think they'll come to terms whether or not he's like physically signed it.
Okay. All right. Mike, what do you got?
Right now today, I think he'll be there. I don't know that they will have a final agreement, so I'm not as optimistic on that. But I do think that there will be progress made between now and then enough for him to be willing to come to camp. Because he, even in the press conference, kind of left it open. He didn't say, if I don't have a deal, I'm not coming. So I think if progress is made and it's moving in the right direction, which I'm hopeful it will, I think he'll be there. But I don't think he's going to, I just don't think there's going to be a deal done by then.
Okay.
And I hope I'm wrong.
Not surprisingly, I don't think he'll be there for the start of training camp. And a deal certainly will not be done by then. I think
if he's got a deal done and he's not there, we got some big problems.
so that goes to the next step of, and I think we all agreed with this last week, and I'll ask you, and if I'm wrong, then correct me, but we all agreed that come week 1, regardless of, if he didn't have a contract, week 1, he would be on the field playing, right? We all agreed with that last week. Is that right? Okay. So do we still all believe that? I do. I believe he would be.
I believe it.
If there's no contract extension, he would still be week 1 on the field playing.
Yeah.
Okay. Joe, you on that too? Yeah.
Yep,
okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
I don't think he can afford not to.
Okay. So if he doesn't have a contract agreement or extension, when and if he doesn't show up for camp, I know you guys both believe that he'll be there at the start of camp, but now I want you to pretend that he's not going to be there. When would you start really freaking out if he's skipping camp? Do you freak out, or do you think he can just show up for week 1 and be fine? Or do you freak out, at the start of preseason or the second week of preseason or third week? Like, do you have a point where you start freaking out real bad that things are not good? Mike, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, so I think if he's not there for the start of preseason, it's not good. First of all, it would be bad if his first sort of interactions are game 1 of the regular season. So not that it would be that, but I think if he's not there for preseason, yeah, that's pretty bad. And that would be concerning to me.
Okay. Joe?
I don't know. I just want him to be on the field. I just want this to be done and over with.
It's what we all want.
We all do.
So right. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to throw this scenario out at y'all, because this is what I was thinking about during one of my walks. Is there's a part of me that sees this as becoming Kirk Cousins all over again. That there will be no contract extension, and they will tag him for at least 1 year, if not 2 years, before he leaves the team.
That's so stupid, though, because they'd be paying him so much more money by tagging him, right?
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
It's the average of what, the top 5?
No, not for him. I forget. Because he wasn't a first-round pick, it's a little different. It's an increase on his last contract. And I think if they tagged him, it would be like 30 million or 31 million.
But that's what we're thinking the contract's going to be anyway.
Right.
If you're willing to tag him for 30.
You tag him, you get him at the 30, 31 you might have paid anyway, but it's only a 1-year deal. And they love a 1-year deal. So you don't okay. Look, if I'm right, if it's not about the average annual salary or whatever, and it really is term and guarantee, then that makes sense. That scenario for the team makes sense.
This is exactly what happened with Kirk. Not Kirk. He wanted his money, and the team wouldn't guarantee it. And so he played on he played on the tags, and he got his annual increases, and it worked out just fine for Kirk, and great. And he turned it into a guaranteed contract with Minnesota down the road, and turned that into a guaranteed contract in Atlanta, and happy for him. But again, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but that was one of the thoughts that popped into my head, is that there will not. And again, this kind of goes back to my initial thoughts when I heard Terry first speak, they are not close at all. this is not going to be settled, that Terry's going to stand his ground, and that Adam Peters is going to stand his ground, and no deal's going to be done, and they'll tag him. They're not going to trade him. That's not going to happen. Obviously they're not going to just let him walk away. They would tag him for at least 1 year, if not 2, and then probably be gone. Again,
I just would hate to see what the Giants did last year with Barkley, where they, or 2 years, whatever it was, where the owner is sitting there being like, he's the best player we've got. We love him. We don't want to lose him. And then the GM's like, oh yeah, I don't want that. We can't have that.
Okay. So
Terry will go and be, the best or one of the best wide receivers.
So
he already is.
Let's wrap up Terry. Well, and therein lies another thing. Where does Terry stand in the wide receiver rankings? And do we really care about rankings? Because I don't care about rankings because, I mean, whatever. You could say Terry's a top 5 receiver. You could say he's a top 10 receiver. Whatever. Does any of that really matter in the grand scheme of things? It doesn't matter when it comes to negotiating your contract because it's all subjective. So I don't care where my players on my team are ranked. All I want is a team to succeed and win Super Bowls, win playoff games. I don't care where players are ranked. So I don't care what Terry's ranked. I want him on the field playing. That's all I care about. So let's put a bow on the Terry talk here with kind of the side of this. When Josh Harris came in as the ownership group, I said that he would have a 3-year honeymoon period with the fans where he could do basically no wrong for 3 years. And this is obviously coming out after Snyder, right? So, and it's the same thing with Adam Peters and Dan Quinn. They have a honeymoon period. That's 3 years. So we're going into, we're moving quickly through these 3 years, at least for Harris. Harris has been, he's been everybody's favorite owner. But if this gets botched, like this is the biggest test so far for Adam Peters and Josh Harris. If this gets botched and say Terry ends up being tagged and he ends up walking after that year, that type of thing, what does this do to Adam Peters and or Josh Harris in the minds of the fans? Are they still the greatest thing to happen to this franchise since the last greatest thing? Or does suddenly everybody maybe turn on them a little bit and say, well, maybe we should back off and anointing these guys as saviors or anything like that? Joe, and I'm going to come to you first, because a lot of what people are talking about there, they say, Adam Peters, look at San Francisco, all these players they signed in August and all this. Well, I don't really care about San Francisco because, first of all, it's San Francisco. And second, Adam Peters was not the GM in San Francisco. He was the assistant GM. He didn't have final say, so it wasn't his call. So could all this taint Adam Peters and or Josh Harris?
You got to say, I mean, immediate answer, maybe. But if we get a Super Bowl in the next year or two, all is forgiven.
Even if Terry walks?
Yeah.
If we get a Super Bowl without Terry, then obviously Adam Peters knew what he was doing. Which, I mean, that's the goal. The goal is to win Super Bowls.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you.
It's like, so it's hard to say, and I understand what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying in that we're in the honeymoon phase and they can get away with doing a certain amount of,
And I'm not saying they've done anything wrong. I'm not trying to paint a bad picture or anything like that.
I think Joe's right. I don't even think it's winning a Super Bowl. It's results, though. So if they, have another 12-win season or whatever, if they're still winning games and doing things, I think the honeymoon stretches out a little bit more. Maybe, yeah. Botching Terry, it's a thing that's there. But if the team keeps performing even without Terry, when that happens, then I don't know how much it affects them.
Okay.
Well, and then let's add another factor. What if they give Terry a 4-year, $32 million a year contract, And what if his productivity starts dropping significantly? I mean, that's the big concern. He's 30 years old or going to be 30 years old,
Yeah.
and he'll have a drop off. So that's
which
why
is
there would probably be hesitation.
which goes to these fans in this area will turn on you on a dime. So if that happens, if Terry stops performing, then fans will criticize a deal like you just described. So that's why fan support doesn't really give him much leverage. Because at the
Right.
end of the day, if they sign a bad deal and he doesn't perform, then the fans will be pissed.
Which is why I came over to your thinking on that, Mike. Like after I had a chance to process it and listen to your wise words.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
going to
now
say
you
this
want
though.
words, not wise words.
I think it's nice that Josh Harris is not sticking his nose in it. He's being the owner. He's letting his GM do, letting his GM and his coaches and so Harris isn't doing anything wrong. And considering what we're going to be talking about in just a minute, I think Harris is still doing great.
So is there a point when Harris should get involved?
No.
Maybe, but not yet.
No.
We're not there yet.
He has football-minded people for a reason.
Okay.
It's his job to be the owner, write the checks, let the football-minded people do their job. Let them do it.
I'm with you. As far as I'm concerned, Harris should never be involved with this. Mike, not against what you said. It doesn't even matter what point we're at. This fan base bitched and moaned for 15 years. They didn't bitch and moan the first 10 years because Snyder was signing everybody they wanted him to sign. Bitched for the last 15 years about Snyder being involved and sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. If Harris gets involved, you cannot celebrate that. I don't care what the result is, because you as a fan, general term, have wanted your owner to stay out of it. So he can't, in my eyes, he can't get involved with this. Not publicly.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Let me clarify my comment. What I mean is, if at some point he may have to replace some of the football-minded people with better football-minded people, something like that. Yeah, he might have to replace the GM. He might have to do that. But no, he should never get involved with the day-to-day decisions. That's not what I meant.
Okay. All right. Okay. So two last things. The team announced this week that, and of course, the day of Terry's press conference, that they are going to retire Art Monk's 81, baby. And that's going to be at the game, home game against Seattle on Sunday night. And fans have said this is a long time coming. Want to get your all's thoughts on this. I know, Joe, maybe Art Monk was maybe a little before your time.
Little.
But so I'll come to you first with what, we retired Darryl Green's number. Now we're retiring Art Monk's number. What do you think about this?
I think it's a great way to honor him.
Okay.
I think it's I think it's a good thing. I think it probably should have been done a long time ago. He played for the team for what, 13 years? What
13 years.
12 or 13 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Hall of Famer, he deserves this. Long overdue.
Mike?
Yeah, I totally agree. Long overdue. I'm thrilled about it. I think it's great.
Okay. I've made it a secret. Art Monk is my favorite. He's my favorite football player. I wanted to be Art Monk. This is the first jersey I ever bought of any sport for any player, anything. I love the way he carried himself on the field, off the field. I had a chance to meet him a number of times after he retired and have conversations. The first time I met him, I was 100% speechless. He's just such a nice person, a good person. And I'm very happy about it. And I don't know about it being long overdue. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy they're retiring it. I don't know if you put a timeline on these types of things, because I think that there's a lot of players in my mind that could have and should have, for that matter, already had their jerseys retired, and some of them actually played before 1980. Because when this news came out, immediately people were like, great, Riggins is next. And I think you save this honor. You have to honor people, even be the ones who played before 1980. And I know they did that with Sonny, and they did that with Sammy Baugh, but Sammy Baugh is such an obvious one. You don't get credit for that. I don't care who the owner is. And there's other players that I think should get the honor next. And quite honestly, as much as I love Art Monk, he wouldn't even be on my Mount Rushmore of Redskins players. So I think there are other players that deserve this honor too, and I hope they get their opportunity. But I'm very happy. Again, he's my favorite player. So any honor he gets like this, I feel wonderful about it. I don't mean to take away from it by saying that other people should be honored in the same way, but I just think, because people are even like, oh, they should do the Hogs next. They should retire the Hogs and this type of thing. And I'm just like, no, no member of the offensive line should have there are many other people that should have their number retired before anybody on the offensive line. But maybe that's a story for a different time. But I just, if you're going to honor the past and not just what everybody remembers, recency bias. And I realize the championships were 30 years ago, but still. That's that. Anything you guys want to close on that subject? And then we got the one last thing I want to bring up.
The only thing I'd like to add is just that maybe I'll be able to get a Super Bowl era throwback of Art Monk.
There you go.
Get a jersey, and that'd be a great one to have.
Yeah,
that's one I don't have. That one would be, that's what I was talking about that before, where it's hard to decide who you'd want to get as a jersey to wear, and can't go wrong with the classics.
Yeah, and like I said, I should not be wearing white jerseys. We've discussed this in the past, but yeah, this
I wouldn't. I said I didn't want white jerseys, but I would make an exception for that one if they end up selling it.
Okay, and for the record, the one of the people I'm talking about is Chris Hamburger. He should have his number retired. He's one of the greatest Redskins of all time, even more so than Monk. And you can look him up and see what he did for this franchise. All right. So the last thing is we are finally on Apple Podcast and Spotify. So if you've been waiting to get your fix of us across all your podcast outlets or what have you, now you can. We're not just on YouTube anymore. So please go to, if it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we'll try and add some others, maybe like iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate your support always. So that's the other big news, I guess. I think it's big news anyway. We're
big news. Yeah.
Big news. More people be able to find us now, hopefully, and we'll go from there. So that's all I got. You guys got anything else you want to add in or anything like that? One last topic or anything?
Yeah, sure. Quick shout out to Ovi for winning that ESPY yesterday for the best champion or best record. I think it was.
Yes, best breaking of a record or something like that.
Yeah, good for him.
Okay. All right. Mike, you got anything?
No, nothing else for me.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that'll wrap it up. We appreciate you tuning in, watching, clicking, subscribing, all that fun stuff. It definitely feeds our fragile egos. And now we'll have more to feed our fragile egos with being on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So until next week, bye.
See ya.